All right, let's come into a comfortable seat. Let me grab my watch for our timing. Funnily, it's also load shedding, but we've got a little generator between that keeps feeding the Wi-Fi. So that is pretty nice. You can already push play on your playlist. Just want to make sure I don't get any phone calls here. Airplane mode. And then just come into a still seat. With the month of January being here, and it's a new start of the year, the theme for tonight's practice is all around renewal. So when I say the word renewal, we will all have our own vision, perception, opinion about what renewal is and what it means to you. We often set intentions on a Monday morning, and I'd like to believe that every day is a new opportunity to see things freshly, to start again. But it is a nice moment in the beginning of the year like this to kind of, you know, as if you have a white page and you can start again. And with our yoga practice, and specifically with our YIN practice, which is so nurturing, which is all about, you know, being in a space of stillness and taking care of yourself. What kind of things, actions, practices, habits can support that sense of renewal and new you? So we'll sit still for another 3 minutes, taking deep, slow breaths in and out. And letting those words just translate into your mind, into your heart. Stay close to the breath, nice and slow, deep breaths in and out. Slow breaths into the nose and maybe even a nice releasing sigh, which could even include some sounds. A little bit of a to let go of the old, to create space for the new. Anything new can be exciting, but also challenging and scary at the same time. Sometimes we're so connected to doing the things in the same way that we almost identify ourselves with it. It's harder to break a habit and create new ones than to just continue doing things in the same way. Let's place our palms together in front of the heart, acknowledging our beautiful uniqueness, our willingness to always be on our mats, to feel, to think. There's no thoughts or emotions that are not welcome here. May this practice renew you and give you a sense of reset. If you have an intention or a dedication, you can bring that in mind now. And then we bow our heads humbly towards our fingers, towards our heart. And let's come into a child's pose to start off with. So move to the back of your mat. Let the big toes touch and let the hips just melt towards your heels. If you prefer to place something underneath your head, feel free to do so. And let the neck be in line with the rest of the spine. And really again connect to the breath. Deepen and lengthen the breath. We'll stay here for just 2 minutes. If for some reason this feels too tight around your hips or your knees, you can place a pillow or even a rolled up towel behind your calves just to create a little bit of height. In Yin Yoga, you find the version of the shape that works for you. And then we find that sense of stillness, allowing the face to be relaxed, allowing some space between the top row of teeth and the bottom row of teeth, so your cheeks can relax, your jaws can relax. And if you have the space, allow yourself to breathe deeply into the belly, into the lower belly. Notice that the belly softly presses to the inside of the thighs when it expands. And then just let go on the exhale. Around 10 more soft, deep breaths in and out. Acknowledge, notice any specific sensations, maybe a little cramp. You know, you are obviously allowed to move, but we aim for stillness. Take one more deep breath in and open the mouth to sigh. Come to a tabletop. And then we'll immediately come to one of my favorite shapes, Anatasana. Hips above the knees. Chest just melts down towards the floor. Also just a short 2 minutes here. Just warming up and feeling into your hips and your shoulders. If you have a sensitive lower back, just softly lift the belly button up and in towards your spine. And let the ribs of the ribs expand on the inhale, front, side, and back. And softly, without too much effort, draw together on the exhale. Renewal, starting again. Letting the past be the past, letting the future be the future. Allowing yourself to start again every single day, even every single breath. Letting behind what has happened, what we cannot change anymore, and letting go of anything in the future that we cannot control, that is unknown. Just being in this moment and knowing that each breath is a new breath. Each moment is a new moment. And therefore precious. Because each moment will never ever come back. Take 4 more deep rounds of breath here. Working quite a lot into back bends this morning and opening of the front line of the body. Or not this morning, this evening. Acknowledging our heart space and also allowing the heart to stay open. Let's move to a Sphinx pose. If you want to create a little bit more height, you can place something under your arms, a pillow. Remember that higher is not always better, you know? Less is more, often in Yin. Specifically, sometimes the mind starts to choose for us and thinks that, you know, going higher is better, but if it creates a sense of tension in the lower back or in the body or cramping into the shoulders, then, you know, rather choose for a gentler variation. We'll stay here for 3 minutes. So you can even just close your eyes. Soften the shoulders away from the ears. Sometimes I pretend, you know, I actually don't know the English words, but the fighters in the Middle Ages, they were wearing these very heavy metal, you'll have to WhatsApp me the name of that in English. So pretend you're wearing one and it's around your shoulders, but it's not heavy in weight, but it just allows energetically for your shoulders to move away from the ears to create space and uprightness. Allow your belly button to softly press into the floor with every inhale. Not only creating space in the front of the lower part of your upper body, around the pelvis, around the belly, but also allowing that deep breathing to create space in the back part of the body, around the vertebra of your lower back. The breath anchors you into the body, anchors you into the every moment, the every breath. And with having the opportunity to start again, to find a sense of newness, there is also a sense of forgiveness. Sometimes we try to change things, but change takes work. And change takes sometimes, you know, oh, now I'm doing it again. It's that cycle, it's that effort. It's a repetition of even taking a misstep that makes you realize, like, okay, no, this is not really where I want to go. And then you just, you know, as I sometimes use the expression, you jump back onto your horse, onto your path, onto the way you think you can live. I love this word. Radiantly alive, you know, it's the studio I work for in Bali. It's called Radiantly Alive. How can I be radiantly alive? How can I start again and again every day to take choices in what I do, what I say, what I eat, what I drink? Start again to just be the best version of yourself. And to feel extraordinary and to really allow yourself to be radiantly alive. Three more rounds of breath here. And softly Drop the nose down towards the floor. Place your hands on top of each other and let your hands be a pillow for your head. And then totally soften your shoulders. You might feel some tension in the shoulders from the Anatasana, from the puppy's pose, and also from this Sphinx pose. So just totally relax. And if it serves you more to actually bring the arms next to your head and turn the face, then it's also fine. Somewhere where you can totally relax your shoulders. We'll stay here for a minute, just a bit of a rebound, a space in between poses to feel, to notice. And the pranayama, the breathing we can use here is again belly breath. So those big, slow, deep breaths into the belly really calm down your central nervous system. Stretch out your diaphragm. Slow it down. Three more rounds of breath. Nice. Hands next to your ribcage, pressing to your tabletop. And then just lie on your back. So you can either just flip around, depends on if you want to have your feet or your head closer to the screen. And we'll do our banana asana. You know, so you just make sure you can maybe see me. I don't know if you can see me, otherwise you'll have to turn around. So the word asana means physical pose. It also means comfortable seat, so that it specifically applies to the yin. That yes, we are finding an edge, but the comfortable seat is in a way that we can breathe, that you can smile. So banana asana is more a joke, but we are making a banana shape with our body and specifically stretching into the side parts of the body. You can scoop your hips over to the right side, and your feet are more on the left side of the mat. I think this will feel familiar. And that's half the banana. So the lower body is already a little bit in a C shape. Now can we also bring the upper body over to the left? So I like to use the back of the arms, the elbows, to kind of scoop, scoop, scoop. Just notice that your hips stay level. So the right hip stays low. It's often the right bum that starts to lift, and then you're a little skew in the hips. So you can even remove some flesh of the left bum, and then maybe even press the back of the head into the floor. We'll stay here for 3 minutes. Your arms, you can either hold on to your right wrist, or you can interlace the arms in a way that your opposite hand is holding on to the opposite elbow. Now already start to relax the body from the toes up. So another type of yoga is called yoga nidra. And in yoga nidra, it's almost like an hour shavasana, let's say, but you subtly pay attention to the small parts of the body and try to relax them. So you are conscious, you are aware, you are basically doing a body scan. So start to bring your mind's eye, start to bring your attention to your toes. Relax the toes. Notice where the back of the feet, the heels, touch your mat. Let that touch, let that connection between the heels and the mat be soft. And then you work up the body, letting your calves, notice where the calves are in contact with the mat. And now on the next exhale, can you relax your knees? Almost like they're becoming liquid. Your feet might fall out a little to the side, that's all right. Moving up your thighs, and let your pelvis be heavy on the exhale. So an inhale to create space, an exhale to find heaviness and softness, heaviness in the hips, softness in your belly. Where on the right side of your body is the sensation the most intense? I could indicate that if I would wanted to point my finger or touch my body and say, this is where I feel it most. It would probably, for me, be somewhere here around the outside of the right hip towards the kidneys, but it might be very well, very, very differently in your body, depending on where the resistance and the tension resides in your body. Walk your mind's eye up your tummy, and even up the right side of the rib cage to that right lung. Let that right lung expand on the inhale. And just empty on the exhale. How does your right shoulder feel? The right side of your neck, the right ear. Let the mouth and the tongue be relaxed. We take 3 more rounds of breath. And then gently come back to the center. Start with the upper body. Press the back of the hand on the floor, lift your shoulder blades until you feel quite neutral. And then bring your knees up so the feet are flat into the floor. And then can you try to find a symmetrical shape? You might have to lift your hips. Find a resting pose with the knees knocked in towards each other and the feet as wide as the mat. And if it feels comfortable for you, place your right hand on your tummy and your left hand on your heart. Can you notice if you would, let's say, visually cut your body in half from the top to the bottom? Can you notice a difference in the sensations on the right and the left side of the body? Maybe some tingling. Notice the difference. From there, we work into our supported bridge pose with a block or 2 blocks or a pillow. It's also a back bend and a nice opening of the front line of the body. And again, can you allow your body to tell you what serves you in this moment? Almost with a beginner's mind, like as if you've never ever done this pose before. You go like, okay, let's discover this pose. So the feet are hip width apart, quite close to the bum. Do you think or do you feel that the feet are parallel, hip width apart? Really break it down and then build the pose up. And just start quite low and feel like, okay, maybe this is where I want to place the block. I've noticed with supported bridge pose that there is a massive difference. If I move the block, let's say, even half a centimeter, I'm not measuring it like mathematically, but if I take the block and I move it like half a centimeter higher, there's a different release than if I move it a little bit lower. I find it quite interesting. So sometimes I even take like 3-4 times to just feel like, okay, where will the block sit nicest in a way that I can still relax, but I can also feel that there is an edge. Woo! I need to do this more often. It's probably because I went for a run this morning and sat behind the computer all day. It's just good to really release the psoas, the hip flexors. Let me time this nicely for us. We'll stay extra long. Oh, I almost made that 40 minutes. That would be a bit crazy. We might fall asleep. 4 minutes. Now, when we're halfway, you can choose to stay. You can change the arms. For now, just have your arms next to the body. And just a little subtle awareness is that there is a tendency for the knees to kind of either turn out. So I call that Charlie Chaplin feet. Often when people lie in this shape, their feet are like Charlie Chaplin or like a penguin, meaning that the toes are turned out. So just maybe wiggle forward and back softly onto the feet. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but notice if they are as parallel as you can make them with the knowledge that you have because you can't see them. And then also notice if there's still pressure on the ball of the big toe. Another thing that tends to happen is that the energy starts to move towards the outer edges of the feet, towards the pinky toes. So keep the energy, the pressure, it's soft pressure, equally divided over the 4 corners of your feet. And then may your hips just be heavy on every exhale. If you shake a little, or if there's some interesting tingling sensations, just notice them. And let the belly rise and fall. You see where your Paul has left us, so I just want to see if he's not accidentally waiting. We are halfway, so you can either now bring your arms overhead and interlace them if that feels nice. If you want more, and for this variation, I would have the block, not probably, well, maybe for some of you it's nice on the highs. Let's actually just see. Wherever you are, one option is to have the hands over your head. If you keep your hands next to the body where they were, you can actually take the hand around the front of the foot and point your toes. So flip the foot, so it's not the soles of the feet that are touching. It's actually, you'll probably need to help your feet a little bit. It's a big stretch for the toes as well, but it's the toenails that are now into the mat. This is very strong. And there's also quite a sensation of the knees wanting to come out. So once you're in the position, you can either keep your hands around your heels or release the arms above your head. We've got 52 seconds. I need to breathe deeply here. Lovely front line opening. In my body, definitely some shaking going on. Just allowing it to shake. Let the breath be supportive. The release of the sigh, always welcome. Two more breaths. Allow the belly to rise. Allow the belly to soften and fold. If your feet are flipped the other way, gently let your hands help the feet. Soles of the feet flat to the floor. Can we come out nice and slow? So lift your hips. And then first the upper part of your back, the spine rolls down vertebra by vertebra. Pelvis stays up, tailbone stays up, let the middle back press into the floor. Ooh, and once the pelvis hits the floor, come to that resting shape with the knees in towards each other and just be still. Ooh, I needed that. That was quite challenging in a way, there were lots of sensations. 2 more deep, slow breaths. When I really consciously breathe, I'm always surprised how much slower and how much deeper I can actually breathe than I think I can. When I feel I'm full, if you do it gently and softly, it can be a more expansion, more space, more softness. Softly draw your knees in towards your chest just to give your lower back a little bit of space. You can wiggle from right to left. And then we have our banana shape on the other side. So scoop your hips over to the left. Let both feet be in the right corner of your mat. And then you can come lie down and shimmy and move. Take your time here. We know that once we are in the shape, we're not going to move anymore. So I always allow, or I always encourage you to take your time to settle into your shape. Because once you're in there, normally we stay there. All right. Arms can be overhead. Can hold onto that left wrist, or hands are looping around the elbows. If your hands are looped around the elbows, most probably you will have done exactly the same arm up and the same arm down. So if you did that without thinking about it, maybe just lift your elbows in front of your face and change the grip. So I can see that my left arm is up, and now I'm just going to have my right arm up. And then we can do that lovely scan of our body without any rush. Really acknowledge your toes. Maybe you can even go as subtle as noticing your big toe, the second toe, let the third toe relax, the fourth toe, your pinky toe, and that softness from the toes just melts into a softness of the sole of the foot, the front of the foot into the ankle joints. As if there's a ripple effect of the softness of one part of the body just creating more softness into the next part of the body. Let the knees, the calves, the lower part of the legs be heavy and soft. Thigh bones heavy. As if your quadriceps just melt off the bone. And then for me, in my body, but again, it can be totally different for you. It comes to the pelvis and the hips and the hip flexors and the left side of that hip. That is kind of really screaming is a big word. I don't mean it in a negative like way, but there's a lot of talk around the left hip, a lot of sensations, maybe some resistance there. So let every breath create some sense of renewal. Let the muscles relax, left side of the body open, left lung available and open, left armpit, soften the jaw on your face. Round 3, more rounds of breath here. And let's be gentle when we come out. Let's start with the head, let go of the elbows. You can use the back of the arms or the back of your head to walk, literally walk your upper body back. And slide the knees so the knees point up to the sky. And this time, we bring the soles of the feet to touch. In a Baddha Konasana or butterfly leg position for just a minute or so. Allowing your hips to open. Eyeballs heavy, eyelids heavy and relaxed. With your hands, you can close your knees as if they're a book, and then again, just softly bring them in towards your chest. Even a little squeeze that allows your, the back of your pelvis and the tailbone to lift. Maybe even the nose in between the knees. So you're really a really small little ball. All right, Emma, this one is for you on request. Come to your belly. We've done a lot of opening here in the front line. You asked for it, you asked for it. So you can start, we'll do one leg at a time. You can use a prop under your arm if you want more height. Actually, this is going to be a little bit too hard. You don't have to. You can also just be low, but it's all about the front of the leg here. So you bring your hand onto the foot and you try. This is actually hero's pose. We've done hero's pose before where you sit and your bum is on the inside of the heel. So it's the same thing, but now you're on the tummy and you are guiding. We'll do it just for, let's do 2 minutes to not go too crazy. I'll set our timer first. We'll do both sides. So onto your tummy. We'll start with the right leg. Relax your left toes. So you can be on your left arm and then just bring your right hand on top of the foot and draw it in. It's also quite a strong stretch here for your shoulder. If for any reason this left arm doesn't feel nice, you can just bring your head onto your arm. It just decreases the intensity. So that little bit of a back bend creates more intensity. And of course, you can back up. Of course, you can use a belt. If you want even more, you can use something under your left arm because that high in the upper body creates more of a back bend. That's definitely too much for me, but we are all different. And then try to close your eyes. Notice where you feel this most. One thing that does happen is that the right knee wants to move out to the side. So try to keep it behind your hip. Almost like as if your knees want to be close to each other. All right, that was already a minute. Emma, you better be smiling. I can see you smiling. Woo! Oh, getting warm here. There is actually a really cool variation of your right hand. But I'll have to probably show that closer to the screen. So instead of having your hand on top of the foot, you can turn in and around. So instead of doing like that, you bring your hand on the big toe side of the foot, then loop your fingers around your toes. Woo! Why not 10 seconds? Elbow pointing up, take a deep breath in. Ooh la la, let go. And let's just kick our feet onto the mat. Just releasing the quadriceps and then let them fall and just shake your heels from right to left. I'd actually forgotten about that pose. There must be a reason. There's always a reason when you accidentally forget about a pose. With and a back bend and the quadriceps. So there's a lot going on. L'autre côté, the other side. I'll change so you can see, but you know where you're going. You know where you're going. So just before you hold on to the foot, notice that that knee is not too much out to the side. So it's really behind you. You can do this low. And try to bring the heel, rather than bringing it straight towards the sit bone, try to bring it a little bit outwards. So it almost sits next to your bum. Yeah, good. That's also hero pose. Now, because we're not sitting, so in hero pose, there's more weight on the knees. So here you can really feel into it. Let me start our timer. Otherwise, we'll be here forever. Feel free to close your eyes. Quite strong sensations there around the left front of the thigh. Probably. Maybe around the left shoulder here. You can even use your right hand and support your chin. Come back to the breath. With each breath, you give new prana, renewal, new life force, new fresh oxygen, new energy into the body. It's like you're resetting your battery, physical, mental, emotionally, maybe even spiritually. Just reset, renew, refresh. And one of the hardest things we also often refer to in yoga is a beginner's mind. And I find it very challenging because we know things, we learn things. Can we approach something with a beginner's mind, which is almost like a child, like, oh, this is interesting. I often think of, in Dutch we call her Pippi Langstrup, that girl with the red hair, the naughty one. She approaches life with newness, and it's like, okay, I've never done that before. Maybe I'll be very good at it. And I really, really like that way of thinking. But because we are conditioned and we have experience and we have our opinion, it sometimes makes things blurry. We can't really have a beginner's mind. So practicing that allows you to see everything new. Okay, where are we? Yes, that was it. Ooh la 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 la. Maybe create a little pillow of your hands and shake your bum from right to left. With all the back bends, I would like to also do a nice twisting Yeah, we can do actually both. Let me just think which side I want to do first. Knees over to the left. So right knee comes up first. So it's our dead man pose variation. So if you're lying on your tummy, you just slide that right knee up next to you. I'll be on this side. So you can lift and slide that knee next to you. And then just notice my right knee is up. Do I prefer to have my face facing to the right? Or do I prefer having my face facing to the left? Just make a mental note of it so we can do the other side with the other knee. Because we tend to sleep on the same side of our face, on the same side of our, if you sleep on your side, you often tend to sleep on the same side. So it's nice to just change things around. I'd like to do a twist, but then I can't see you. So I'll look at you, and then you will notice that there's some space here underneath the right hip. So can you breathe into that space, into the right side of the lower belly, towards your appendix, towards your liver, sits a little higher, but also there on the right side. Let everything. It's called your ascending column. In the Eastern philosophy, they consider the ascending column everything that you take in that serves you, which can be your digestive, your digestive system takes all the good stuff in and tries to get rid of all the things that it doesn't like or that don't serve, that are toxic or poisonous. Diaphragmatical breathing, soft breaths, slow breaths. Soften your toes. Maybe even notice the beating of your own heart. Five more rounds of breath here. From there, bring the right hand in front of your chest. Come and lie down on your, what do I want to do? On your left shoulder. So you bring your left arm was to the left. You bring it under your face all the way next to your bent knee. And then you're on a twist. So I like to even shimmy and try to flatten. We'll stay here for 2 minutes as well. If you wanted, the front of our thighs are quite open because of the other stretches we've done. Feel free, by the way, to place something under your head if that serves you. But you may bend your left leg, that one, and with your right hand, find your left foot. That is called the cat that catches its own tail. From there, you can have the nose facing and pointing up to the sky. And if you wanted to extend this twist, the twist through the spine, up towards your neck, then you can even turn your nose towards your right shoulder. All these different options. It's just a matter of finding your shape within the shape. Notice where the sensations arise in your body. Is it around your right buttock? Is it around the knee? Is it around your shoulders? Stay with the breath. Maybe weten your lips with your tongue, and then let the lips be apart so your face can relax. Your jaw softens and falls away, the bottom part of your jaw. Come back to the breath, nice and slow breaths in and out. Slowly, slowly release and turn back onto your tummy. I will move again to the other side so I can continue seeing you, but just like you left me up this time. And then remember, if you were facing the bent knee, so before you were facing the right maybe, then again face towards the knee, because now that means you would be facing towards the left. Now start our timer for us. Close your eyes. Settle into the shape. And then how soft can you make your body? How soft can you let all the muscles just be? Even a mantra in your mind. It's almost like you're telling your body, it's okay, let go. Nothing to do, just to breathe, knowing that every breath is a new breath, a new moment, a new sensation, maybe a new thought. And then with every breath, we create more space. One more deep breath in, towards the lower belly, towards that left hip, towards that left side, your descending column. And then slowly loop that right arm under your face towards the bent knee and start to roll onto the right side. Let's take a nice crack. Don't know if you ever feel that like popping of air in between. Take your time here. Just shuffle, shimmy, maybe bend your right knee and let the left hand find your right foot. And then we'll start our last shape before Shavasana. Some space between the top row of teeth, the bottom row of teeth. Space between the ribs. Twists. Allow for things to be, how would I say, yeah, detoxified. So twists really help create mobility and flexibility in the spine. They also stimulate your digestion. So you can have a new fresh start. Through rest, through recovery, we recharge our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual battery. So we can have clarity and really feel renewed. Take 4 more lovely rounds of breath here. Can you make them even slower, even deeper each time you breathe in and out? And then from there, start to roll onto your back and find your Shavasana, which could be on your back, which could be with the soles of the feet to touch. It could be in our recovery pose where the knees are locked in towards each other. That gives the lower back a little bit more opportunity to rest. Maybe you want to be on your belly. Just settle into the seat. Maybe use something to cover your eyes. Make sure your space is nice and quiet. I'll allow for us to together do a 3-minute Shavasana. And if you enjoy staying a little longer or even using the space to meditate, to journal, any of those spiritual practices can really help us, heal us, sort things out, make things clear. A clean, white page. Start all over again. For now, just be still. So if you are in a very happy place, you just want to stay where you are, ignore my instructions. If you feel ready to start moving again, start with small movements. Maybe even start with your head, bringing your nose from the one side to the other side. Acknowledging our toes and our fingers, and noticing all the little subtle parts of our body. Bringing a sense of awareness of the beauty, the magic of our body, and the cells that keep multiplying, that keep renewing, that keep us alive. And then maybe hug your knees one by one in towards your chest. And from there, you can roll to a side, and from the side, come back to a seated position. I definitely feel renewed. Interesting to observe, well, specifically for me today, as it was such an interesting way to start class, how your energy can be like, ooh, all up there, and then just by breathing, by finding a moment of stillness, you're basically a renewed new person, a different person, calm, centered, connected. One energy is not better than the other, but it's beautiful to be able to acknowledge that all these different sides of us exist inside of us, and that we have a choice to cultivate calmness or sometimes madness if we feel that that serves us. Thank you for being here. May this beautiful practice have a ripple effect in the rest of your evening, the week. Namaste.